Good morning, viewers. Today's topic for discussion is small intestine and its mesentry. Let's start with the small intestine. The intestine, which is the longest part of the digestive system, is divided into long, less distensible, and that is the small intestine, and the shorter one, more distensible, is the large intestine. It's opposite to their names, right? Shorter one is the large intestine, and the longer one is the small intestine. The name is given because of their diameters, right? Now, the proximal, regarding its embryology, the proximal one and a half part of the duodenum, including liver, gallbladder, and pancreas, they develop from foregut, right? Proximal one and a half part of duodenum, liver, gallbladder, pancreas, they develop from foregut, and the remaining distal two and a half part of the duodenum, they develop from along with the jejunum, ileum, cecum, appendix, ascending colon, and right 2/3 of the transverse colon develop from midgut. And the left 1/3 of the transverse colon, descending colon, pelvic colon, and the proximal part of the rectum, they develop from hindgut. What is the logic behind this? Why I'm telling which part develops from midgut, foregut, and hindgut? Because likewise their blood supply is different, right? Like foregut is supplied by the branches from celiac trunk, midgut from this superior mesenteric artery, and hindgut from inferior mesenteric, branches from the inferior mesenteric artery, right? Now, let's start with the small intestine proper. It extends from pylorus to ileocecal junction, right? It is about 6 meter long, right? Length is greater in males than the females, right? Now it is divided into two parts: upper fixed part, that is called duodenum, and the lower mobile part. The lower mobile part, upper 2/5 of the mobile part is jejunum, and the lower 3/5 is ileum, right? Now, its important features. The largest surface area. Largest surface area is, why the small intestine has largest surface area? For absorption of digested food, right? We required a large surface area, and this is achieved by, one is the greater length of the intestine, and the second one is the presence of circular folds of mucous membrane, which are also called as plica circularis or valves of Kerckring. I have written here plica. I've written here plica circularis or valves of Kerckring, right? Then we have these villi and microvilli, right? So these factors, they add up to the increased area. Number one is the length, its length, right, intestine, and the second one is these circular folds. These are the folds of Kerckring or plica circularis, and the third one is villi and microvilli. And now, what are these circular folds of mucous membrane? These are also termed as plica circularis. I've written here plica circularis, right? Or valves of Kerckring. I have drawn here, these are the plica circularis, right? This is the small intestine we have cut from there. So these are the plica circularis, right? So they begin in plica circularis, they begin in the second part of the duodenum and become large and closely set below the level of major duodenal papilla. Then they continue in the proximal half of the jejunum, but then they diminish progressively in size and number in the distal half of the jejunum and in proximal half of ileum. They are almost absent in the distal half of the ileum, right? Now, these the intestine villi, we know these are the finger-like projections of mucous membrane. They are just visible to the naked eye. They help aid in increase the surface area, right? Then each villus is covered by a layer of absorptive columnar cells. The surface of these cells has striated border and is seen under the microscope, which are known as microvilli, which we have shown you in histo slides, right? Now, one another thing is present, which is called intestinal glands or crypts of Lieberkühn, right? And what are they? I'll show you why I have drawn this diagram. I will show you first. Listen, the intestinal or crypts of, they are simple tubular glands and they are distributed over the entire mucous membrane of jejunum and ileum, right? And then we have different lymphoid follicles. The solitary lymphoid follicles, they are distributed throughout the small and large intestine, and the aggregated lymphoid follicles, which are also termed as Pierce patches, right? They are present in ileum and small and fewer in jejunum. Mostly they are present in this ileum, right? Pairs patches is the marked feature of this ileum, right? Now, arterial supply. Arterial supply to jejunum and ileum is derived from jejunal and ileal branches of the superior mesenteric artery, right? The duodenum, they receive the blood supply from the arteries from the foregut, right? Foregut, right? And that they will be discussed separately in the lecture of duodenum, right? Now, lymphatics. The large lymphatic vessels, they formed at these mesenteric border, pass to the mesenteric lymph nodes. Nerve supply is sympathetic by T9 to T11 and parasympathetic by vagus, right? And these nerves, they form the mesenteric plexus of Orbeck's, right? Containing parasympathetic ganglia between circular and longitudinal muscle cords, right? Fibers from these plexus form submucous plexus of Meissner, which also contain parasympathetic ganglia, right? And sympathetic nerves, they are motor to the sphincters and to the muscular mucosae and inhibitory to the peristaltic movements. While the parasympathetic, they stimulate peristaltics and inhibits the sphincters, right? Now, the main function of the small intestine is digestion and absorption, right? Now, let's discuss the differences between small and large intestine and jejunum and ileum, right? Now, first I will discuss the diagram and then we'll discuss the differences. So, what I have drawn, these are the arterial arcades. So, this is mesentry of this small intestine, which I will discuss later. What is mesentry? This mesentry contains these blood vessels which form different arterial arcades. This is jejunum, this is ileum, right? So ileum, we also have arcades. See the difference which is visible here. Here are only 1 to 2 arcades, arterial arcades. We have 3 to 4 arterial arcades present in the ileum. While here, now what are these? Vasa recta. These are called vasa recta, vessels which finally reach the jejunum. These are vasa recta. The vasa recta are longer in jejunum and there they are smaller in ileum, right? Now, walls are thicker and more vascular in jejunum, as it already discussed, right? And thinner and less vascular in ileum. Lumen is wider. Here ileum, the lumen is narrower, right? Now, regarding mesentry, the difference, this is mesentry. The difference in the mesentry are, we have windows present. These are the windows, fat-filled gaps. Windows, right? Windows present. Fat is less abundant, right? Arterial arcades 1 to 2, right? Vasa recta are longer and fewer. Now, in the mesentry of ileum, we have no windows, right? Fat more abundant. Arterial arcades 3 to 4 in number. It may be 3 to 6. Vasa recta, they are shorter, right? And more numerous. Then we have villi. Villi are large and thick in case of jejunum, right? They are leaf-like, and shorter and thinner in ileum. They are finger-like, right? Solitary lymphatic follicles fewer, but in ileum they are more. And aggregated one is the feature of the which I termed as these Pear's patches, right? Now come to the mesentry of the small intestine. What is mesentry first? The mesentry I have drawn. This is mesentry. This whole part. What is mesentry? It is the fold or broad or fan-shaped fold of peritoneum which suspends the colon, these coils of jejunum and ileum from the posterior abdominal wall, right? So what is mesentry? Mesentry is a broad fan-shaped fold of peritoneum which suspends the coils of jejunum and ileum from the posterior abdominal wall, right? Now, it has two borders, the attached border or root of mesentry, right? Attached border or the root of mesentry, and that is directed obliquely downwards and to the right, right? Attached border. This one is the attached border. Now, one more thing is important, that are the, actually what is it? I will show you. This is the attached border. It extends from the, theoretically if we see, it extends from duodenojejunal flexure. Here I have drawn in this diagram. This is the root of the, this attached border or root of the mesentery I have drawn. The structure is crossed by the root of mesentery. So it extends from duodenojejunal flexure, right, on the left side of vertebra L2 to the upper part of right sacroiliac joint, right. Towards this side is the right sacroiliac joint, right. So what is root of mesentery or attached border? It is nothing but it extends from duodenojejunal flexure on the left side of the vertebra L2 to upper part of right sacroiliac joint. Now this one, and what are the structures that crosses this border, mesentery or attached border? One is third part of the duodenum. This one is the first. Duodenum has three parts: first, second, third. I have drawn this duodenum. This is inferior vena cava. This is aorta, right? This is duodenojejunal flexure, right? Is superior mesenteric vessels, and this is mesenteric artery. This is vessel. This I have drawn the root of mesentery, extends from duodenojejunal flexure to right sacroiliac joint, right? This is ureter. This is right psoas major muscle, right? So 1, 2, 3, third part. So what are the structures crossed by the root of mesentery? One is the third part of the duodenum where superior mesenteric vessels enter into it, right? Then we have abdominal aorta. Then we have inferior vena cava, right? Then we have right ureter. Then we have right psoas major. I will again repeat the structure crossed by root of the mesentery. First, the root of mesentery extends from duodenojejunal flexure to right sacroiliac joint, right? Now, what are the structures crossed by the root of mesentery? These are the third part of the duodenum, abdominal aorta, inferior vena cava, right ureter, and right psoas major. Done. Now, this one was the attached border. Now the free border. The free border is 6 meters. This one is the free border and is thrown into plates. It is attached to the gut, forming its visceral peritoneum or the serous cord, right? The breadth of the mesentery is maximum and is about 20 centimeter in the center part, but gradually it decreases towards both the ends, right? Now fat is distributed in the lower part of the fat is more abundant in the lower part of the mesentery, extending from the root of mesentery to the intestinal border, right? The upper part of the mesentery contains less fat, right? But whatever fat is present, that is accumulated towards near the root, right? Near the intestinal wall, it leaves a circular or fat-free translucent areas, windows, which I have discussed during these differences in jejunum and ileum. Windows are present in this jejunum, right? Fat-free areas, right? Now, what are the contents? Jejunal and ileal branches of the superior mesenteric artery pierces and then divides into duodenal and jejunal branches. Jejunal and ileal branches of superior mesenteric artery, right? So first content will be jejunal and ileal branches of the superior mesenteric artery, and second one is accompanying veins. Then we have 3 autonomic nerve plexus. Then we have lymphatics or lacteals. Then we have 100 to 200 lymph nodes, and then connective tissue and fat. So contents are easy, right? The whole of the mesentery is explained from this diagram, right? It extends from number 1, duodenojejunal flexure to right sacroiliac joints. Regarding contents, structure piercing the root of mesentery are third part of the duodenum, aorta, inferior vena cava, right ureter, right psoas major, right? Then we have contents. Contents means jejunal and ileal branches of superior mesenteric artery, accompanying veins, autonomic nerve plexus, lacteals, 100 to 200 lymph nodes, connective tissue with fat, right? This is all about today's discussion. Thank you very much.